Brains! It's Zombicide Black Plague, a cooperative adventure game where the heroes must cut their way through a horde of undead as they survive in a fantasy world of horror. It's one of our favorite games, so we had to paint the miniatures and also build out a 3D version of the board brick by brick. Come along with us in this video and we'll show you how it's done. Hi everybody, I'm Heath.
I'm Megan.
And what are we looking at today?
We are looking at Zombicide.
And this is one of my favorite games. I have been playing this a lot. It's basically always in the car with me when we're going places so that we have games to play. And I think I have all of the expansions, so we're going to be doing a lot of Zombicide here. But this is just the basic Zombicide Black Plague game. And so because we like it so much, we're going to try to improve it.
Yes. I like this one because Megan is in the game.
That's right.
So I'll paint it up too.
A lot of those are already painted, but we got to finish painting the heroes. But really what I think we need to do is build a 3D board for this.
We've got these tiles that come with it.
And I really want to see the terrain on the Zombicide board. But we also don't want to spend too much time on this. We want this to move along. So my thought was that we already have this beautiful art on here that represents the whole game. So we should use those tiles as bases.
Yeah.
That way we just see down and see all of this art and we move along. That means that basically we just need walls.
That way we can see the inside and the outside a little bit easier. And they've already made the walls on here, so we've got a basis to make it off of.
That's right. So we can see exactly where they're supposed to go, and then also that will help to distinguish between interior and exterior parts of the board. Mm-hmm. So we'll build walls on that. But they are double-sided. That's a problem. I don't want the walls to be moving around during gameplay, so I want to fix the walls to the board. But fortunately, Simon does have these.
Extras.
So they sell just the tiles itself. So I was like, perfect. So I got more tiles. That way we can keep one set of Zombicide tiles nice and pristine the way they go. That way the box packs up nicely. But then here in the board gaming den, we can make some up for the studio.
For special occasions.
Right, exactly. When we're playing here, and that way the terrain can be mounted very well and won't fall apart. So that's what we got to do.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's do it. We built all of the walls brick by brick. We cut the bricks out of styrofoam and textured them by shaking them against rocks. This was a lot of work, but hand building the walls in this way made us be able to do and create a look that we wouldn't have been able to do otherwise.
So next up we were masking everything. We wanted to leave where the walls were so that we could put down the bricks, but we didn't want to cover up all of the art on the boards because it's really beautiful anyways.
Yeah, I was really afraid that the art of the board was going to get messed up during the process, so everything got masked off.
That didn't happen. And then once we laid down the bricks, we covered them in black paint and Mod Podge together.
It's black paint and Mod Podge. Went ahead and just mixed them together.
Covered it, and then we went back through with other colors.
But first, we decided to go with a brown. So this is like a tan. Rather than doing gray,
yeah.
Everybody does classic dungeon gray. We wanted to try to do something a bit different here and do a kind of brown color scheme for Zombicide.
The brown made it a little bit more like dirty looking.
Dirty, gritty?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And then we pulled out individual bricks with other colors. Lighter grays, darker browns.
Give it some variety.
Right, to give variety across all of the walls. I think we had like 4 or 5 different colors.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I realized that the boards were a bit flimsy just the way they were, especially for everything that we were adding onto them. And so I decided to mount the Zombicide tiles onto some thin plywood. I just covered them in wood glue and clamped on some thin plywood that I had stained with a dark mahogany stain. This makes our tiles much more robust. Meanwhile, I think we decided to add even more variety to the walls.
I think we looked at it and just
they needed more.
Wanted more, yeah. And then I went through with the black wash and just hand painted that on to give it. And we had you with the hairdryer or me with the hairdryer and made sure it had that kind of spotted look.
The final step was to dry brush them. We used this large makeup brush that I found at the dollar store and used a light tan to pick up all of the edges of the bricks.
Once we had finished all the painting, we went back through with a clear coat just to seal everything up. Give it that matte finish.
And also protect it during the game.
Yeah.
Once that was done, it was time to lift off.
It was time to reveal.
It was like the moment of truth.
Yeah.
Did this work?
And it did. We had to be careful with the masking tape that it didn't pull up the art.
Pull toward the edge of the board.
Yeah. But once we had figured that out, it looked pretty good.
It was great setting him out there on that table that day, because it had been so much work.
Yeah. And then we started working on the doors, too, and we had some, like, cardboard.
That's just gray board.
Oh. We had some gray board that we cut up into the sizes for the doors, and then we started to build the brick around that, but that's what we painted to make the doors.
The goal there was to make doors that would clip over the walls.
Yeah.
Because we've got the solid walls, but you've got to be able to get into and out of the buildings. And so the thinking was that if you do some walls that drop, the doors that drop over the walls, you can position them any other place.
Yeah.
And that ended up working very well.
Yeah, it worked well.
Each door also got faced with bricks, just like the walls. In the end, these came out a little thick, but they do work. Maybe for a future iteration of this game, we'll come up with a way to make the doors thinner.
So after we had finished the doors with the Mod Podge black paint again, then we spray painted these with the brown.
Being able to spray paint them like this also made it so much faster.
Yeah.
Just take them outside,
Definitely.
get this can of spray paint that's the color you want,
Just go for it.
and get it done.
And then we went through, after we had done that, with all the individual bricks and added the variety pack, some of the whites and darker colors.
The same process with the wash and then also the dry brush was repeated on the doors. That way they all match.
We painted them the different colors, because there's the blue and the green doors, and then just the regular brown doors.
And then we painted black on the interior of the doors that were to represent open doors.
That we burst open during the game.
That way you can exchange them for open and closed doors during the game.
Then we put the grain for the doors in, just to add a little bit.
Yeah, you could do this in a variety of ways, but really just grabbing a pen and putting some texture on the door
Just go for it.
worked, right. The last thing that we needed to make were the vaults.
Yes.
And there were the purple and the yellow vaults in the game, and so we made those out of 1/2 inch thick foam.
Yep.
And we decided to make those so they would actually match the other dungeon tiles that we were doing. So we put an 1.25 inch grid on them. And these would be just fun little rooms that can be set, beside the table.
We had some fun making the tiles look cracked.
Yes, this is a wood burner, and so it's easy to just put the cracks in some of the tiles there, and then I textured it with a rock.
Take a rock from outside. Those were very useful rocks.
They were very useful rocks. And then we got back out the bricks. These are individually cut bricks on the Proxon, and then they got glued together. And I didn't worry about a door or anything like that, because you enter them from the top, and you just place the miniatures inside of them during the game.
Mod Podged again.
Back outside, I was working with the vaults, and they needed to be primed. So I primed them in white. They're going to be washed and everything, so they're going to get dark, so I wanted them to start light. After priming, I got the same tan spray paint out to spray paint around all of the walls. Started with the spray paint and then went in with a brush later to clean it up. I wanted to start with a very dark kind of brown in those lines to make those stand out. That doesn't really matter in Zombicide because you don't worry about individual spaces, but if they're ever used in the other kind of game, I wanted the lines to, the grid lines to really show up. Then I just used
One for the yellow.
Yellow paint, right, to paint the tiles.
The dark creases, though, look a lot better with the it makes them stand out.
It does.
Lot better. And painting that bottom brown again.
Yeah, I've been using a darker brown to represent the base on all of the sets. Our standard
Variety of bricks.
Our standard practice, right, to add some variety of different color bricks in there. And I tried some different colors down there because it's the vaults, and these are supposed to be special rooms anyway.
Next up, we went for the wash again. And with the good old hair dryer.
Yeah, once again, you can see that we're always washing it in a direction so that gravity brings the wash into the crevices, and making sure that the wash is dry using the hair dryer before we move on to another step.
And then you went in and colored it again, make it stand out.
I think I did put some additional the base color on to bring out the yellow and the purple again.
And back to spraying that.
Once it's done, last step is always the clear coat. Next, we had to paint all of the zombies and the heroes. The first step is just the base coat. That everything has a single base color that goes on. Don't have to worry about being too neat. And then once you do the entire base coat and everything has a base color, then we use a wash. And there was a zombie wash that Army Painter created. Right, that was perfect. So I used the zombie wash. Now here, you will notice that I washed them on their side. Because that way the wash doesn't run down to their feet. And we were trying to be careful with this on these, because the miniatures are things you pick up and take a look at, and they're really centerpieces of the game.
They may be zombies, but they still need to look nice.
Right, they still need to look nice. So you wash them on one side, and that way when it dries, all the wash runs into all their detail. And then you flip them over and then wash the back once it's dry. And then, you can go after that and do as much highlighting as you want, but all I did was do one more layer of the base color after the wash had been done. Then we did paint the bases in gray, and then you'll see the different colors I put on there. For playability, I decided to color code all the zombies so that the yellow rim around the base would be walkers, the green rim around the base would be runners, and then red would be the fatties.
Which I think was a really great idea. It makes it a lot easier.
And anytime you've got especially with a giant mass of zombies, everybody move the walkers again, you can just...
Which ones are the walkers?
Right, go in and easily tell. So that's a good playability thing to do. I really like them.
I think they turned out great.
Well, here it is. It has been a lot of work.
A lot of work. but it looks good.
It looks fantastic.
I love it.
I think we wouldn't have been able to achieve this kind of look using any other method.
I was apprehensive about the singular bricks, but it really looks good, y'all. I love it.
In order to have this kind of look, you have to do it that way.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to taking it to the table.
Yeah.
I think everybody's going to love it, and they're going to be really impressed.
I'm excited to show it to people.
Yeah, we did 4 quests worth of Zombicide boards set up, so we got plenty to play on.
Lots of doors.
Lots of doors.
All of the miniatures painted. We're ready.
We're ready. So thank you very much for watching with us. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope it inspired you to improve your Zombicide game if it's one of your favorite games, too. It's one of ours. So if they want to get in touch with you, Megan, how do they do that?
I'm at Megan Pecco on Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm at E. Heath Robinson at Twitter and Instagram. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. We'll be taking this to dinner and a board game very soon. See you in another video.
Bye.